It's Popcorn Crushers on Gusto TV. Yes. And you know how we do here, we review movies, and we have a very, very notable movie that would interest you, today. But before I dive into all of that, I want to say thank you, for liking, subscribing, and commenting, to this channel. And Popcorn Crushers, we love you. I love you. Now moving on, guys, it will interest you that I have a particular sequel with me. Yeah, it's kind of almost like a thing here on Popcorn Crushers that we have been reviewing movies that seem to be having sequels, from time past. But then again, I'm going to give you a hint of what this movie is. Now, in 1999, we had the first part, as we like to say in Nigeria, the part 1, which is The World Is Enough in 1999. We also had Quantum of Solace in 2008. You should get a drill of what I'm talking about already. We also had Casino Royale in 2012. We had Skyfall in 2012, Casino Royale 2006, and Spectre in 2015. You already know I'm talking about James Bond. And finally, there's a part 6 to all of this already, and it's called No Time to Die 007. Guys, I'm really interested in letting you know how all of it went. But then again, you know how we grew up watching, James Bond, busting ass, driving around. And I'm not talking about Sean Connery or, the other guy that always acts, he's a subtitle or sub character to James Bond. I'm talking about the James Bond himself, in person of Daniel Craig, guys. He's on this one, and trust me, he really did kill it. Now, this is how the story went. You know how, Spectre ended with the Spectre of 2015, ended with how, Bond and Swan were seen, riding, they were car riding, yeah, so trying to get into a happily ever after. But then again, in this one, we realized that there is no happily ever after when it comes to, people. A hitman, actually, when it comes to a hitman, they never really end up being happy with the woman they love. But then again, before I go into that, let me just, give you a breakdown of what the storyline is about. So it turns out that, they had to break up in the beginning, and then we could see James Bond, not minding about him, losing his love, the love of his life, who is Swan. And then he was seen in Jamaica. Now, what interested me most in that part is the fact that, there was an African, mix to it. They were playing African jams, and there were African women in the movie, and they didn't just, appear in the movie. They were power women. Like, they had so much strength and so much, energy. They added energy into it. I'm speaking of Lashana Lynch. Yes, she acted, very interestingly, she acted 007. So we have 2 007 in the movie already. Like, I know, guys, you guys are excited. I was excited when I found out, and I really wanted to see how she pulled that off. But trust me, she put in all of her energy. Now, continuing with the storyline, he, teamed up with her at the end of the day, at first he was trying to save a scientist, but then it turns out there was a little bit of a twist to it, that, he had to then kill that scientist and then, try to save the day like he always do, and find out that he has a family that he didn't know was a secret to him 5 years already. Wow, guys, it was interesting to see how, over the years, we've seen that James Bond is a tough guy, tough skin, unremorseful, he's as hard as a rock. But then again, it would interest you to let you know that James Bond was a little bit soft, and he went really, really soft. And it was really interesting to see that no matter how tough a guy is, he can be vulnerable when it comes to family and bond. Now, that's all on the storyline. I cannot give you more than that because I don't want to be a spoiler. I really want you guys to go and see this movie. But then again, after this review, you can now decide if you want to or not. I have more interesting things to tell you. So you have to stick around to see how, all of this, plays out. Now, moving on, we also saw the director of the movie. Now, mind you, this is an American director that has been, directing Bond movies for a long time. And this is no other than Cary Joji. Cary Joji is a very interesting guy. As he did a whole lot of twists to this, he was able to, deliver all of these characters in their capacity. Like, when I saw Anna de Armas, kicking ass, busting ass, trying to co-work with James Bond in this movie, I was like, what? And then I saw Rami Malek. Yes, Rami Malek is in the movie, and guess what? He's the antagonist. Like, don't you want to see that? Like, I saw him and I was so wild. Like, guys, I don't want to drop all of the bomb yet. Now, moving on, we also, the producer of the movie, these are two people that have actually, been producing this movie over the years, all of the sequel, speaking of Barbara Broccoli, and a half-brother, Michael J. Wilson. So, guys, you should know that all of this has been well thought out. These are not newbies, to James Bond. These are people that have been actually following it, from 1999 up to 2021. So trust me, guys, everything was well thought of. And moving on, guys, we could see also that, the stunts in this particular, part of, James Bond series or James Bond movies is actually very, very captivating. Trust me. I know I have seen a whole lot of, action movies that are action-packed, guns here and there, car racing, everything you can think of in an action movie was in there. And even when they had a physical fight of fists, they did deliver. And that is thanks to the stunts coordinator, Lee Morrison. And Lee Morrison is no newbie as well, because Lee Morrison has been working with the James Bond, speaking of Daniel Craig, all through his 5 chapters, of 007. Lee Morrison has been working with him, back to back, and he's still, on this as well. So this shows that, everybody was comfortable on set, working with Daniel Craig, and Daniel Craig was really comfortable, coming back. We know how it's been long he has been on set, he has been away from movies and all of that. So coming back to meet his old team, working together with him and still delivering so well, it's applaudable, guys. Trust me, it is applaudable. I know you guys already know why, I'm smiling and I'm really happy today because the movie was well delivered. It was well delivered. Now, moving on, what really interested me the most is the music. No Time to Die by Billie Eilish. Can you imagine? Billie Eilish also was the theme song for this movie, guys. Everything was well thought of. Everything was well thought of. So congrats to Billie Eilish on this one. She did really, really, amazing. And speaking of the cast, I don't need to tell you, Daniel Craig played James Bond. Rami Malek was the antagonist, which was Safin. We also had Lashana Lynch, who, interestingly, guys, I don't want to bust the bubble yet, but there's something about Lashana I have to tell you, but you have to wait, towards the end before I drop the bomb. Now we have Ana de Armas, who didn't really appear much in the movie, but she made an impact. She showed us girl power. Like, she showed us that what men can do in the ring, women can also do really, really well. Like, she really did bust ass, fight guys with her gun, and she jumping up and down. Like, I was impressed. Now, moving on, we also had Naomi Harris, Jeffrey White, Ben Whishaw. Ben Whishaw. I cannot, I have to pronounce that really well because the guy also, really delivered. Ben is not somebody that is always, in movies. But then again, I like the fact that he was the tech guy, in the movie, and he delivered it like a proper tech guy. This is thanks to the director. Like, I can't say all of this without thanking the director over and over. Like, he did bring everybody to their A game. We also saw Billy, Raffines, Christoph. A whole lot of people were in the movie, and all of these casts are people that, like I said before, were well thought of. But then again, these are casts that are not new, to action movies or to, storylines like this. So congratulations to all of them. They did really, really well. Now, guys, it turns out that this is the final time that you would see Daniel Craig in a James Bond movie, as at the end of this movie, he died. Yes, he died, and he died with, missiles coming down in a building that he is rather. And, this building was stocked up from the ground up with virus that would literally kill everybody, through, how technologies are, and how, these American directors or story writers, they try to make us believe that, the world is in danger and it depends on one man. So it turns out that Daniel Craig was the superhero in the movie, but superhero this time around, how they always say actor no they die, but superheroes and actors are going to be really sad to see that, this particular actor died in the movie. Now, he died with it, and I feel like that is a message to try to tell us that, Daniel might never feature in James Bond again. And I felt like that led to the storyline of Lashana Lynch. So Lashana was 007, which happened to replace, Daniel in the movie, and already they replaced him because they thought he was never coming back to the field, but then he came back and they worked together and he died. And so it turns out that if there's going to be a sequel after this, Lashana might be the next James Bond we would be, looking out for. So that's really sad, to see that I might never see Daniel again, in James Bond. But then again, I am looking forward to see Lashana kick ass because she really did deliver, and she did it so well. Her action was on point. Every of her moves were well thought of. Everything was 100 over 100. And I'm really happy they made a woman do this. Not like I'm a feminist or anything, but I feel like it was really interesting to see how they were able to mix, all of this together and still allow a woman to, shine. I like that a lot. So I'm going to give it 10 over 10 for whatever that, rating is. I'm giving it a 10 over 10. And then again, there's this last line that I really want to read out, to everybody. So it confirms the news that I am giving to you, that Daniel or James Bond, who is Daniel Craig, might not be the James Bond in any of this series anymore. So this is a line that he dropped, after he died in the movie, and his friends had to give him the final tribute. So this was a line that they read from his diary. So he said, "The proper function of man is to live, not to exist. I shall not waste my days in trying to prolong them. I shall use my time." So this is a message, telling us that, what? I want to use my time to do something else. Probably in the movie, he's gone and, he has used his time. But then again, he might be using his time, to tell us that I'm going to be using my time to, do something else and, function in probably another department, but no longer in James Bond. I feel really sad. But then again, I am hyped to see what Lashana is going to do, in the next one, if there's going to be a next one, soon. Now to ratings. When it comes to storyline, I feel like the storyline was well thought of. Every of the, parts were placed back to back, and every of the characters and their names, we had some some characters who had full names, in the movie, like Jeffrey White, who was also in the movie, and he died. Very sad. But then again, it's an example though that, some of these characters had, long names and some had code names. You could see some who were, bearing M in the movie and some were bearing Q. And then we could see others who had full names and everything. So it was really an interesting, part to see that. And we could also see how the whole tall buildings and, car racing. And the car racings were really actually placed in a very organized manner. So when it comes to the storyline, I'm going to give it 8 over 10 because it was really interesting to see how everything played out so really well. I like it. And then, when it came to set design, awesome. So I'm going to give it a 8 over 10. Characters, 7 over 10. Music, 10 over 10. Music, this goes to music and sound because where I need to hear a punch, they gave me that. Where I need to hear, cars screeching and everything, I heard that too. And the theme song, I am a huge fan of Billie Eilish, guys. So 10 over 10. And then directing, 9 over 10. That's what I'm going to give. And then for overall, I'm going to give it a 10 over 10, guys. This movie is worth my time, is worth your time, guys. So if you want to go see the movie, please do, and grab a popcorn with you because you are going to enjoy it every step of the way. Kudos to Daniel Craig, even though we might not see him again. I hope in James Bond movie, I hope that we see him, in other movies, and I anticipate to see that as well. And to all of the characters, that put all of this together, to all of the team, it was an interesting movie. But mind you, if you really want to enjoy, the movie from the beginning, you should try and watch Spectre, the one they did in 2015, so you can, follow along. You can get that on Netflix, so you can catch up with this one, because it's like a continuation, and you might be wondering, who is this lady with him and everything. So go see Spectre before you watch No Time to Die. Go see Spectre before you watch No Time to Die, 007. Overall, it's an interesting movie. Lessons learned. I learned that, there are going to be bad people everywhere, and if it depends on you to save the day, please do. And something I've always said on this, on every of this show, Popcorn Crushers, is that, interestingly, everybody go collect breakfast at the end of the day. So just trust who you love, and try to use your time really, really well. Like he said in the movie, he couldn't use this time, with his family in the movie. So I'm hoping that whatever you're doing, try to use your time with what is worthwhile. On that note, I'm saying thank you guys for watching this, and tell us what you think about this movie if you have seen it, and tell us, so it doesn't be me telling you all of what I think. Tell us what you think about the movie. And on that note, thank you guys so much. If you're new to this channel, please click on the subscribe button and notification bell so you'll be notified when we have a new video. Thank you so much.